Hey guys, what's going on? Pride London here. You guys know what to do. As always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get into today's video. So we're starting off with West Ham. I move for Chelsea outcast, and as you can see pictured there, we do have Emerson Palmieri. And West Ham are one of the sides interested in signing Chelsea left back Emerson this summer, claims the Independent. And if we scroll further down, there's some stats on him and all that sort of stuff. Basically, we perform better without him in the starting 11, which is not a surprise given that, you know, he's had moments at Chelsea, but never really sort of seen him as the long-term successor to the left-back role by any means. And yeah, it says Inter have also long-standing interest in Emerson, with Conte keen on a reunion with the fullback, having signed him in for Chelsea in January 2018. However, the Serie A giants have already got Ashley Young and recently signed Kolarov, so it doesn't look like Inter Milan are going to be going for him. And West Ham are interested, so this of course is interesting just in the sense of, you know, we're getting rid of some of the dead wood and we'll be getting some money for it, but at the same time West Ham have a player that we're interested in, and that is Declan Rice. And their stance, it does seem that they are still sort of firm on their no stance of we're not selling him unless you're going to offer stupid money like 80 million, which I don't think Chelsea are going to do. Because we've got Marina Granovskaya as our negotiator, so I don't think we'll be spending 80 million on him. But you know, there's the obvious conclusion here of a swap deal plus cash on our end, because Emerson is not valued as high as Declan Rice is, of course. So if they were to pay 20-30 million for Emerson, possibly, that might be a bit of a stretch, then that brings the price down for Declan Rice, and we could see, you know, we're getting rid of a player we don't need, they're getting a player that they want, and we're getting Declan Rice, a player that we want. So it does kind of work hand in hand. Everyone should be happy, assuming that the fee involved is, you know, up to West Ham standards of about 80 million of value for Declan Rice. So an interesting one. This one could develop, and we could see a bit of a, you know, swap deal plus cash involved here. But good news either way, even if we, you know, don't involve him in a swap deal for Declan Rice, we just get cash. That cash can be used on Declan Rice or other signings or whatever we need it for. So yeah, all in all, pretty good this one. And on the topic of Declan Rice, you can see here Chelsea hierarchy disagree with Frank Lampard over Declan Rice transfer. And this has actually come from David Ornstein, who's quite reliable when it comes to transfer talk, so, you know, we can believe this. And he says, according to The Athletic's David Ornstein, not everyone shares Lampard's view, and there are significant reservations over the deal from a number of people in Chelsea's hierarchy. The biggest issue is the price West Ham will demand, which will be in excess of £70 million, a fee that the Blues are unlikely to be able to match without including players in a swap. So of course we mentioned the Emerson swap deal possibility. There was talks of Batshuayi going there on a loan, or possibly a permanent on that one, I don't even remember. But yeah, there's a few different players that we thought maybe could go that way. Tomori on loan, given that there's a lot of clubs are interested in Tomori on a short-term basis, because Chelsea want him for the long-term. But it is interesting to hear that, you know, Frank Lampard obviously wants him. You can see that he can play the DM, he can play centre-back, and he's very versatile, and that's something that'll help us out a lot. And he's got, you know, the physical stature, the bit of a leadership aspect to him, which we do miss in this Chelsea team. So, you know, I can see where Frank's coming from, but there's people in Chelsea's hierarchy who do not. And whether that's Marina Granovskaya, maybe because of the fee, you know, it would make sense if hers a negotiator saying, look, we don't have much room to negotiate, we're going to pay a lot for him, therefore I don't think we should go for it because he's not worth, you know, 70-80 million. It's possible it's her, it's possible it's Petr Cech as our technical sort of advisor. We've got, of course, Roman Abramovich as an owner, but I don't know how much say he really has on it. We've got Bruce Buck, the chairman. You know, there's different people involved here that could disagree, and if, you know, they can't all get on the same page and agree that he's worth X amount and that this deal will be good for Chelsea, then we might not see this one happen. And that's fine for now, because, you know, we can make do without Declan Rice for a season, maybe two, and then see it in the future. Maybe then we can look at getting Declan Rice from West Ham, especially given that a lot of people are predicting that they will be relegation candidates for this season. If they go down, then his price will plummet, because he deserves to be playing in the Premier League. So maybe it is just better for us to wait on this one. And then the next story we have today, Chelsea exit imminent as impressive deal is agreed for an unwanted man. And as you can see pictured, we've got Tomori Bakayoko. I can never pronounce his name, so it's probably a good thing that he never managed to get into the first team, because Tomori, I could never do it. Is on the verge of joining AC Milan on a permanent deal according to reports in Italy. As you can see here by Sky Sports Italia via Sports Witness, a deal is not far off, which is good news because that's more money coming to the club at some point. As per the report, Milan are willing to pay Chelsea an initial €3 million loan fee, which, you know, is a decent amount, but it's nothing crazy, which contains an option to buy in 2021, so next season, for €30 million. And that's fine with me. I think, you know, we obviously paid £40 million for him up front when we got him, so we will be making a loss, but obviously he hasn't worked out, and I guess you can consider, you know, over time he's just depreciated in value. People know we don't want him, so it's fair. And furthermore, Bakayoko has already agreed personal terms at the San Siro, so it does look like this one is going to happen. It says Milan are in no rush to push the deal though just yet. The Italian club's priority is qualifying for the Europa League, which will then determine their ambitions in the transfer market. So it's a long one, in that, you know, this is going to drag out probably, but it does look like Bakayoko will be going, and if we can get him to actually leave permanently rather than on loan deals all the time, then that's fine by me, and I very much welcome that. Then we have an update on the whole Edouard Mendy situation, which as of yesterday was looking like it was going to be confirmed. The terms were agreed, the fees were agreed, all that sort of stuff. And pretty much just after I posted my video, Rennes won Tomori from Chelsea as part of Edouard Mendy deal. And as you can see down here, Chelsea are believed to be on the verge of securing a deal for Mendy, who is expected to replace Kepa as the club's #1 goalkeeper this season. According to Telefoot, the details of the agreement are still being finalised, and Rennes have made a last-minute demand to include Tomori in the deal. Everton have also recently been linked with the centre-back, but Blues boss Frank Lampard said last week that he would not be allowed to leave Stamford Bridge on loan. The 22-year-old has returned to Chelsea after Derby last summer, blah blah blah. Didn't get much game time, so is this the right move? And while I can see a case for, you know, us sending him out on loan, I do think that I want him to get game time at Chelsea. So if he's not going to get it at Chelsea, then I'd rather him go somewhere where he is going to get it, but we don't have many centre-backs in the club to sort of, you know, fill in. So I don't know. I don't know how likely this is to happen, especially if, you know, we've got Thiago Silva, Rudiger Christensen, then you're looking at Edouard Mendy rather, is likely to be going out on loan. If Tomori goes out on loan, that does leave us a little thin. Ethan Ampadu, of course, gone to Sheffield, and he can play centre back, so that's another option out the window. So I'm not too sure we're going to actually let him go. Whether this means that they're going to demand an extra fee on top in terms of, oh, well, you're going to have to add a few million on top then, or what, we don't know. But this is being reported by Matt Law, so you can trust it. And yeah, they're making a last minute push in the middle of negotiations, just as it's about to finish and the paperworks are about to be signed, to try and include him on a loan, which is quite a little bit of a dirty, tricky transfer negotiation tactic, but what can you do, eh? Hopefully Chelsea don't go for it, because I really want to see Tomori succeed at Chelsea. Then we do have a weird story. It's resurfaced. Bayern back in for HudsonOdoi. And it says Bayern Munich have revived their interest in Chelsea ace Callum Hudson-Odoi and are optimistic that the Blues will be open to a sale. The 19-year-old was previously touted for a move to the Bundesliga last year, but put pen to paper on a lucrative 5-year deal at Stamford Bridge. However, the England international is targeting regular game time, and Bayern believe Chelsea may be willing to listen to offers following their spending spree that has increased competition in the squad. And then blah blah blah, apparently Juventus are also monitoring the situation. So what do I think of this? Personally, I do not think it's going to happen. I don't know whether it's just sort of like an article to create a bit of drama around Chelsea. I just don't know. I don't know where it's come from. He has signed now a 5-year deal, so, you know, the chances of us letting him go for anything reasonable are out the window. They're going to have to pay a massive amount of cash to get him from us. That obviously shows that we have intentions of using him at the club for the next 5 years at least, and Obviously, Callum hasn't featured that much over the recent period, but I guess he's not impressing in training, plus he's had his long-term injury. So there's a lot of, match recovery to be done there, and I'm sure at some point he will start featuring more in the first team squad. But yeah, I do not know what this one is about. I don't think it's going to happen, especially considering that we have like 3 wingers at the club anyway. We have players that can fill in if they need to, but we have 3 natural wingers, I'd say. So this one, I just don't get. We've got Pulisic, Ziyech, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Timo Werner can play there. Kai Havertz can play there. Mason Mount can play on the wing. But they're not out-and-out wingers. You want natural players in your squad in the natural position. So I find this one weird. I don't think we'll see much more coming of this, but if you do see it, I wouldn't start worrying. That is going to be the end of the video. So if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.